So we have the two types of microwave tubes classification, like O-type tube and M-type tube. So right out to the linear tubes. So where is the velocity modulation is the concept there. The M-type tube, there is a magnetron, it comes under M-type tube. And here O-type tubes have the Klystrons and TWT, that is the traveling wave tubes, and Klystrons comes under O-type tube. In Klystrons, so there is a special a type of equipment we are using there. There is a velocity modulation concept is coming here. So modulation, already I told last class. So the characteristics of the carrier signal is varied according to the amplitude of the message signal or modulating signal. So here in our microwave, in our Klystrons, a refreshed Klystron or so two cavity Klystron. So we are using electron beam as a carrier, and there's a message signal, some RF signal we are using. So here the velocity of the electron is varied according to the amplitude of the RF signal or message signal. So there is a velocity modulation takes place here. So due to velocity modulation, so there is a variation, there is some so that the velocity of the electrons varied means the different electrons will travel with the different velocities. So this different velocity electrons are meet at one point, that is called as the electron bunching process. So electron bunch. So due to electron bunch, there is a so current modulation also occurs in this Klystrons. So here two cavity Klystron we are using as an amplifier, basic application, but also you can use for the oscillator also by giving the feedback. So reflex Klystron is one of the source where we are using in our laboratory also to generate the microwave signal. Okay, so already told, so the frequency range. So we are using in our laboratory, that is the X band, that is 8 to 12 gigahertz. So whatever the values or whatever the things we're going to get in our laboratory is in between 8 to 12 gigahertz only. If less than or more than that, so it's not the proper readings you can identify like that. Okay, so here you have to remember that point. So Klystron, a special type of device. I will explain in detail at the time of when we're going to discuss this one. So there is a velocity modulation concept is the new one in this case. Earlier already you know what is the amplitude modulation, phase modulation, pulse position modulation, different modulation techniques, either analog and digital modulation techniques. So here we are having the special type of this one. So velocity modulation is very important one. So velocity modulation. So modulation nothing but so the characteristics of the carrier signal is varied according to the amplitude of the message signal. So here in our case, so either our Klystrons or our so traveling wave tubes. So we are using our electrons is our carrier, electron beam. We are generating electron beam. So electron beam is our carrier. So the velocity of the electrons is varied according to the amplitude of the RF signal input, or it will generate internally. So here, so that means, so the velocity is varied means called as velocity modulation. So due to velocity modulation, there is a electrons travel with the different velocities. So the taller meet at one point, there is electron bunch. So due to electron bunch, there is a variation in the current also. Current modulation also takes place in the Klystron. Please remember these things. So two cavity Klystron is an amplifier basically. So then you can use as a oscillator also by giving the feedback. So our reflex Klystron is the major one. So where we are using in our laboratory also to generate the microwave signal. So reflex Klystron is so one of the microwave cells to generate the microwave signal. So in our laboratory to generate the microwave signal in the X band region. So in between 8 to 12 gigahertz. There is a different modes also there that we'll see later in detail. Right? This is one of the microwave source. So reflex Klystron is one of the microwave source. So there we can see what is the velocity modulation. So how the velocity of electron is varied depends upon our input voltage, and what is meant by bunching process we can see. So then Applegate diagram. So how this electrons is varied according to our input signal. So how they will form a bunch that we can see. Then we need to find out here. So what is the output power and what is the efficiency of the reflex Klystron. Efficiency of the reflex Klystron and two cavity Klystron. Both you can see. So efficiency of the reflex Klystron, so two cavity Klystron. Then you can see what is the so output power that is going to calculate in our, so these two are very important. So reflex klystron and two cavity klystron, right? So then coming to the fourth unit, there's some other micro sources are there here. So one of this is on the helix type TWT, it is traveling wave tube. It is a, so one of the, amplifier, this is also amplifier. So here there is a different type of structure we are using in the traveling wave tube. So here there is a disadvantage in our reflex klystron. The reflex klystron, suppose there is a klystron, so there is a small gap is there. The velocity modulation or the interaction of the RF signal and micro electron beam only at the single point. And so at the gap of the bunch cavity only, that is a drawback there. So to avoid that, so here we are using the traveling wave tube. There's some helical structure we are using in the traveling wave tube. That means the interaction between our RF signal and electron beam is happened throughout the tube. There in klystrons, either you can take reflex klystron or two cavity klystron. There is a, we can say buncher cavity, catcher cavity, input cavity, output cavity. In input cavity, so the interaction of the interaction of RF signal and electron beam only at the gap of the buncher cavity. So to avoid that, here the helical type traveling wave tube. So here there is a tube like this one. So there is a helical structure. So where the electron beam and there is a second signal, RF signal to the helical structure. So we are sending the electron beam also to the cavity tube. So their interaction between electron beam and helical, the RF signal is the throughout the tube. So there we can get the more gain. So compared to our reflex two cavity klystron, so in helical structure, it's in TWT, we are going to get the more gain. So that is the advantage. So there you can use the another tube, that is the traveling wave tube. So these klystrons and traveling wave tube, so where we are using this velocity modulation concept. This comes under the O-type tubes, the linear tubes you can say. So another type of micro source, there is M-type tube, so where you can use the magnetrons. So we can see in our day-to-day life, in our our microwave ovens, they're using the magnetron as a micro source. In microwave oven, we can see there is specifications we have suppose you have in the microwave oven in your home, you can see there is some specifications. There is a magnetron is there to generate the microwave signal there. So here, so this concept is somewhat different compared to our linear tubes. So that we will see the later. What are the different types of modes also existing in here? So coming to the fifth unit. So here also first part A, two things are there here. So microwave solid state devices and microwave measurements. So microwave solid state devices, here using the, so another type of microwave source, that is a gun diode, is comes under solid state devices. So gun diode is acts as a microwave source. It also generated a microwave source. So it's the difference between normal diode and this gun diode. So normal diode already know that is using the germanium and silicon. So there, so here also in gun diode, here is a special type of device, that is a gallium arsenide is the semiconductor we are using in this gun diode. Gallium arsenide as a semiconductor we are using here. So in our normal diodes, if you take the PN junction diode. So PN junction diode, what happened? So by increasing the voltage, input voltage to the diode. So by increasing the input voltage, so after some threshold, the current also increased. So by increasing the input, current also increased. So here, what happened in gun diode? So by increasing the input voltage up to certain level, so the current also increased. Both are directional proportional. By increasing the input voltage, so the current also increased. So after certain voltage, it is called as a threshold voltage. After certain, for example, I am increasing the voltage from 0 to 10. So up to maybe 0 to 6, so the current also increased. So after some threshold voltage, you can take it as maybe 6 as a threshold voltage. After 6 volts, So by increasing the voltage, the current going to decrease. So the current in the decreasing manner. The current in the decreasing manner. That means by increasing the voltage, the current is decreasing. Now both are inversely proportional. That means after 6 volts, so there is a what is the resistance now? So it is the negative resistance. So negative resistance. Suppose we take the V by minus I, negative resistance. So if any device exhibits negative resistance, it acts as a oscillator. Any device exhibits negative resistance, it acts as a oscillator. Any device exhibits negative resistance, it acts as a oscillator. Now, so this is the concept we are using the Gunn diode. So Gunn diode, so up to certain level, certain threshold voltage. So it acts as a normal PN junction diode. That means, so by increasing the input voltage, so the current also increases. The current also increasing. So after certain voltage, after some threshold voltage, so by increasing the input voltage, so the current must to decrease. That means, so after the threshold voltage, it exhibits the negative resistance. So when a device exhibits negative resistance, so we can say it acts as a oscillator. You can say it acts as a oscillator. So why it will happen like that means, so there is a, so you can say some already you know the diodes. We have the valence band, conduction band. There is a forbidden energy gap in between that. So in conduction band, so there is a two things we have. So lower valley and upper valley. So there is a movement of electrons from upper valley to lower valley. So after such threshold voltage that we can see at the end, at the time of going to study our solid state devices. So there is a, so you can say population inversion. There is a change of electron movement from lower valley to the upper valley. So due to that, it will exhibit some negative resistance. Okay. So here the special, what is the material or what is the diode you are using here means, so gallium arsenide is the material you are using in the Gunn diode. Our normal PN junction diode we have the germanium and silicon. So here we are using the gallium arsenide as the semiconductor to design for this Gunn diode. Okay. So this is the one of the microwave source. In our laboratory also you can see the two. So but here the power levels are less compared to reflex klystron. So the Gunn diode power levels are less. So we are getting more power at the reflex klystron. There is two types of microwave sources in your laboratory. So one is the reflex klystron. So another one is the, so this is Gunn diode. So solid state devices, so Gunn diode. Okay. So these two are the microwave sources. Our traveling, two cavity klystron is sometimes an oscillator, and TWT, traveling wave tube, comes under oscillator, and this magnetron. So magnetron is the one of the microwave source, but we are not using in our laboratory. Right? In our laboratory, we are using these two. So one is the reflex klystron, and second one is the our Gunn diode. Gunn diode is the another microwave source. So this is your one, and second part of your fifth unit, that is the microwave measurements. So microwave measurements. So you can see here the what is the bench setup. So why the microwave bench setup? So like our microwave source is there. After that we have the isolator is there. So to protect the microwave source from the reflections from the load. So already told yesterday. So isolator is allow signal only in one direction. So allow signal only in one direction. So another direction. So it's provide a maximum attenuation. So it is an isolator. So immediate after the microwave source. So to protect our source from the reflections coming from the load or any other mismatch in this one. So after that we have the we have attenuator is there, frequency meter is there, and we have the slotted line section is there in our microwave bench setup. So used to generate the standing waves. That is, it will produce the maximas and minimas. So that is the slotted line. So after that we have our detector mount, where you can take the output. Okay. So different blocks that you can see the different blocks in the microwave bench setup that you can see in your laboratory also. So reflex Kystar, that is the source is there. Reflex Kystar or gun diode, anyone you can use. So after that, so isolator is very important. So to protect the source from the reflections coming from the load. So source, after that we have the attenuator to reduce, to maintain the signal level. So whatever the signal level you want, you can adjust by using the attenuator. That is a variable type attenuator. So by varying that, so you can adjust. So after that, we have the frequency meter is there. So frequency meter, by find out the frequency of the microwave signal. It's helpful to measure the frequency of the microwave signal which are going to generate in your by microwave source. So after that, we have the slotted line. So to use to generate the standing waves. Standing waves means it have the maximas and minimas. Maximas and minimas. So after that, there is a detector mount. So that is used to get the take the output from the microwave bench. So that you can see here. So from this microwave bench setup, we can go for the different measurements. Going to measure power measurement. So what is the power of the microwave signal? Then attenuation, by using that attenuator, you can say attenuation measurement. So frequency measurement, by using frequency meter, you can measure, or some other technique you are using to measure. And so VSWR, so voltage standing wave ratio, so that are going to measure by using this microwave bench. Okay, so impedance measurement also we can do by using this. So here this part B of 5th unit, so we have the microwave measurements that already we going to do in your laboratory. Same thing I'm going to explain here once again. What happened in the how to measure these things. Okay, I think now have some clarity. So what are going to study in our microwave engineering. So here have the 2 books you can take. So this is the Leo, so microwave device and circuits, and another book is there that is Miss Kulkarni. So microwave and radar engineering from Kulkarni. So that also you can take. So this is one more book is there, that is microwave engineering. So in this book, some mistakes are there that we will give. That is so it is prepared by our former professor, Dr. M. Sudhakar sir. So that is also there in our library. So in this book, few mistakes are there that will tell you where the mistakes are there. So you can take this first book, Leo. So you can download or you can get from the library. And one more book is a Kulkarni. So many books are there in local books that also you can take, no problem. So, but you some mistakes are there in that one that you can cross check with our notes. That is very important, right? I think you have some clarity. So what is there in our microwave engineering? So you see our this one. So what is the microwave? What is meant by microwave signal? So what is the range of microwaves? So what is the range of microwaves? Anyone? Anyone, please? Q naught, tell me, what is the range of microwave signal? No?
Gigahertz. 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz.
1 gigahertz to 1000
gigahertz.
Very good. So we can use in so many applications that we're going to study. So what are the transmission lines we are using for microwave? So F3. More? F3. What are the microwave transmission lines? What are the microwave transmission lines? (441). 441. 441. No? M7?
Yes, sir.
Good. So what are different microwave transmission lines?
Waveguides, microstrip lines, and coaxial.
Very good. Coaxial cables, waveguides, and
Wave-
micro strip lines. Now see, so in our first unit, so these are the things. So what are the different types of, what is meant by microwave engineering, microwaves? What is the range of microwave frequency? What are the different band that also we're going to see. So what are the transmission lines? So the three transmission lines are the coaxial cable, waveguide, so micro strip lines. So you need two different components. So for the coupling purpose and attenuation purpose, phase shifting purpose, and you can go these are the different microwave components. This is the unit number 2. There is a special, this one, S parameters. So it is very helpful to find out the reflection coefficients. Okay. So then unit number 3 and 4. Unit 3 and 4, these are the microwave sources only. So microwave tubes, you have the two cavity klystron, reflex klystron. So from these two, one question, A or B. So A is two cavity klystron, B is the reflex klystron. So unit number 4, see, here, so two things are there. One is the helix TWT and the second one is the MWT, like M-type tubes, magnetron. And fifth unit, so there are some microwave source of 50%, that is the micro solid state devices, and the second part is the microwave measurements. So it is not a difficult subject compared to AWP, it's very easy. So only that derivation part is very less compared to antennas and wave propagation. So, but I need your response, not like this. And one more important thing, you need to keep separate notebook or one notebook for two subjects like that. So you need to put a notebook. So why? Because there is a derivation part is there in this one, where you need to put a notebook. Okay, that I will tell you. So which is important, which is not important. So where you get to put more effort, that I will explain at the time of teaching the specific topic. Okay, so I need, so all of you, please put separate notebook for this. So in between, I will ask you people, show me your notebook. So you need to switch on your video and you need to show your notebook. That is very important. So I am telling once again, so you are requested to please put separate notebook for this subject, right? So you have to write in a separate notebook. It's very important, right? Now we will go for the, so unit number 1. So what is the different types of microwaves? One second. So now this is our first unit. So electromagnetic spectrum, history of microwaves, advantage and disadvantage of microwaves. So microwave frequency bands, applications of microwaves. So transmission lines at microwave frequency. So coaxial cables and their losses. So now see here. So the range is, so this is the frequency band. I think it is visible for you people. This is the frequency band. Simply you can convert 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. So what is the wavelength? You can see C is equal to, lambda is equal to C by F. Lambda is equal to C by F. So what is the C value? So C is 3.0 into, so 10 power 8 meters per second. So 3.0 into, so 10 power 8 meters per a second. So I think it is from it's from 1 second. I think 10.5 to, so 10.9 to 10 power 10 power 9 to, so 10 power 12. That is your microwave range. So 10 power 9 to, so 10 power, so 12. So this is the frequency range. Okay. So now, what is the microwave frequency range? So they tell earlier 1 gigahertz to 3000 gigahertz, sorry, 300 gigahertz, but it extended up to 1000 gigahertz. You can say, so microwave frequency range is 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. 41, are you there in the meeting? Prem. J5?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Earlier, what happened to you, Mr. Prem?
Sir, connection problem, sir.
Right. So what is the frequency range of microwave signal?
1 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz, sir.
Not 300 gigahertz, the earlier range, but it is up to 1000 gigahertz. So you can say, so what is the frequency range of microwave signal means? It is 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. That you can put, right? So now coming to the advantage of microwaves, you please note down. All of you please note down. So microwaves are electromagnetic waves, generally in the frequency range of 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. Please note down. Unit number 1, you can put introduction. So microwaves. Microwaves are electromagnetic waves, generally in the frequency range of 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. And wavelength also, so 10 power 9 to 10 power 15. So then coming to the advantage of microwaves. Advantage of microwaves. So large bandwidth. So the dimensions of the antenna gets minimized. See, for more frequency, we can minimize the, already think you learned these things. So the dimension of antenna gets minimized to a great extent for a given, so directive gain. So satellite communication was possible due to usage of microwaves as antenna size become practicable. So microwaves are used for long distance communication. And another important thing, fading is less in microwaves. So large bandwidth, so we can minimize the antenna dimensions. So it can use it for the satellite. Because of this, we can minimize size of antenna, and microwaves are used for long distance communication. Microwaves are used for long distance communication, and fading is less in microwaves. So I will share this, don't worry. And disadvantage of microwaves, higher radiating losses in transmission lines. So we are using the, like suppose coaxial cable, there is a losses that also going to see. And transit time effect may conventional devices. That means already I told there is a conventional tubes. Then after that we can get our microwave tubes. So conventional tubes. So we can't use conventional tube. There is a problem with the conventional tubes. So there is a transit time effect that we're going to study at the time of microwave sources. So microwave sources, earlierly we are using microwave source the conventional tubes before coming introducing these klystons. Before introducing reverse klyston or gun diode, earlier there is a conventional tubes to generate the, like our neither diode, neither triodes are there. So triodes. So that is the conventional tubes we are using to generate the microwave signal. So there is a problem. There we are using the triode. We have the RLC circuits, inductors, capacitors, resistors we are using to generate the microwave signal. So there is a problem like transit time effect problem. So inter-electrode capacitance problem and inductance problem. These are the problems in the conventional tubes. That means our normal RLC circuits, we are not useful for the microwaves. This microwaves needs so special type of equipment for all the operations. That is so we can radiating losses, transit time effect, and we can say so wavelength is smaller, the attenuation is large. That is one of the problem. So then coming to the applications of microwaves. So we can applications. So we can divide into different categories. It's very important. Here, the things they're asking only. So what is meant by microwave? Maybe 1 mark question, 2 marks question. So what is the range of microwave? So microwaves are the electromagnetic waves. So where the frequency range is from 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz. So then advantage, disadvantage, sometimes they may ask advantages and disadvantages that you can see. Then applications are very important. Definitely they will ask. There may be 2 marks question or there may be maybe 5 marks question. So applications of microwave. So this application we can divide into different groups. So commercial and industrial applications. So medical applications. Then we can telecommunication.